And he says, and as you are reading, there are certain verses that speak about Jannah, you stop and you ask Allah for Jannah. And verses that speak about hellfire, you stop and seek refuge in Allah from hellfire. You come across verses that speak about Allah's mercy, you stop and ask Allah for His mercy. Certain verses that speak about prohibition of backbiting, you stop and reflect, am I a person who backbites? And you cry if you can. And if you cannot pretend to cry, and if you cannot pretend to cry, then cry because you can't even pretend to cry. That's what Imam Bayhaqi said. من قرأ القرآن فليبكي فإن لم يستطع فليتباكى فإن لم يستطع فليبكي لأنه لا يستطيع أن يتباكى. It has to impact us. And it can only do this if we show the right respect for the Quran and know that this is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thirdly, majalis al-ilm wa dhikr, these types of gatherings increase our remembrance of Allah. Fourthly, ad-du'a wa tadarru' ila Allah, dua and begging Allah. Ask, Ya Allah, don't make me of the heedless. Ya Allah, make me of those who remember you. And the best time is after salah or in sujood or at night qiyamul layl, the night prayer, tahajjud. Even if you have to wake up just before fajr by 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and just 2 rakat. Even just that much. They asked one of the ulama of the past, what is a minimum of qiyamul layl? A minimum of standing up at night vigil. He says, as much, the amount of time it takes to milk a goat. Even that little time, 5 minutes, 2 rakat, when everybody else is asleep. And in sujood, Ya Allah, make me dhakir. Ya Allah, make my heart soft. Because He controls the hearts. He created this heart. Ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qulubana ala dinik. O turner of the hearts, make my heart firm on your. And fifthly, al-muhafadha ala salat al-khams, to be punctual in the 5 times salah on time in jama'ah. Jama'ah could be jama'ah in the masjid for men or even jama'ah in your house. You can do jama'ah in the house with your wife and children. And last but not least, al-iktharu min dhikr al-maut, to think of death again and again. It is said, and I'll just finish, Uthman, إذا وقف على قبر بكى حتى يبل لحيته فقيل له تذكر الجنة والنار فلا تبكي وتبكي من هذا فقال إن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن القبر أول منزل من منازل الآخرة فإن نجا منه فما بعده أيسر منه وإن لم ينج منه فما بعده أشد منه وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم ما رأيت منظرا قط إلا والقبر أفظع منه أخرجه الإمام أحمد والترمذي وابن ماجه والحاكم وهو حسن صحيح. Uthman radiallahu anhu, the third Khalifa radiallahu anhu, it is said when he used to go to a graveyard and stop by the grave, he used to weep so much that his big beard used to get so wet. And they used to say to him, when Jannah is mentioned and Jahannam is mentioned, you don't get affected as much as when you are standing by the grave. And then he said, the Prophet ﷺ says that the grave is the first station of the stations of the hereafter. Whosoever survives that station survives all other stations. And that is, he said, why? And whoever does not survive that station, the station of the grave, cannot survive the other stations. That's why it made him weep. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Rasulullah said, I have never seen a sight more powerful and scarier than that of the grave. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So these are just some pointers about ghafla. May Allah Ta'ala make us of those who are dhakireen and not those who are ghafilin, inshaAllah Ta'ala. Any questions? Yes, please.
How do you stop your mindless? So sometimes we get caught up in doing X or Y number of things and it just becomes part of our daily living, but we're not mindful of what we're saying. So how do you avoid that?
Okay, dhikr in all of its forms, inshallah, is useful. Right, so even sometimes we are busy and we are making dhikr that is useful. We must not think that is not useful. And sometimes the reality of life is that we are busy and we are working and it's hard to stop and reflect. But at least if we are remembering Allah Ta'ala, we should say, Alhamdulillah, Allah has given us that opportunity to at least remember Him, even just verbally and by utterance, that is fine. But in order to become reflective, we need to take time off. We need to stop momentarily. Even if it's a minute or 2 minutes, you must stop momentarily and allow that thought of dhikr to become real, to become reflective. And that's why, we all have breaks. We all have breaks during the day. Salah is a wonderful opportunity to become reflective again and to connect with Allah Ta'ala again. And that's why when we think of Salah, Salah actually starts the minute you start making wudu. Often we are making wudu, but we are heedless. And so the worst thing that we do nowadays is jump into Salah straight without really preparing ourselves for it. That is an opportunity for making that dhikr, the reflective dhikr. When the time of Salah comes and we go and make wudu, know that this wudu is an act of worship. What we end up doing sometimes in this act of worship, we are also disobeying Allah through being extravagant, for example. The tap is open. Shh. You notice, go and experiment this next time. When the tap is open so much and the water is flowing so quickly, your wudu will be very fast. You're trying to catch up with the water. Right? Right? And in doing so, one, you are wasting water, which is not allowed. And secondly, you're not doing your wudu properly or not using the opportunity of wudu to become reflective. And so we all know that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to make wudu with half a liter of water. That's it. That's his wudu. And ghusl with 2 liters plus. That's it. Full bath. Right? How? He used to take his time. And typically they used to always have buckets or something like this to draw water from. Now we have taps, which is good, but it can be bad. So what I recommend is that you open the tap and close it. And take your time. And rub properly. And rub your nails, right? And know that I'm getting ready to stand before Allah. That's why I'm making wudu. And open it again, right? Slowly. Not only you will end up using less water, but also now preparing yourself to be in that state where now when you go and stand before Allah, you are ready, right? And the sunnah before salah, when it's a salah that has sunnah before, try to do that sunnah before salah because it's preparing you for that more important salah, and that is fard. Because humanly, it's impossible to suddenly disconnect ourselves from the worldly affairs and jump into salah and expect that we are going to be in total concentration. It's not going to happen. That's why the ulama say salah is one of the greatest forms of dhikr if it is done properly. And doing salah properly does not only mean its external appearances and what is uttered, but we have to have hudur and khushu' in salah. Hudur, to be in the present moment. You know, now they talk about being in the present moment. You got to be in the present moment. Our ulama have talked about this for the last 1400 years. They say, especially in salah, you have to be in a state of hudur in the present moment, which is very difficult if you just cut yourself out like this from, I'm writing an essay, stop, and go and now do salah. And did I do the reference right? Oh my God. Oh, I should have used Harvard referencing, not MLA referencing. Oh, stop. Right? And khushu', attentiveness. And that is the khushu' of the heart, the attentiveness of the heart, and the submission of the limbs. So that is an opportunity every day. We have 5 times to stop and reflect and make it meaningful. But also manage our time. We have time management is so important. Never miss Fajr Salah. People get busy, they get tired, they spend the nights. Maybe they can't get up for Fajr Salah. Force yourself to get up for Fajr Salah. put 2 alarms, put 3 alarms, get up for Fajr Salah, and slowly get the nafs used to sitting after Fajr Salah to do your dhikr and read your Quran. One of the great Imams of the past, whose name I can't recall now, he would spend sometimes hour and a half after Salah, Fajr Salah, just in dhikr and dua. Hour and a half. And they would say, why? He says, because that is my fuel for the rest of the day. That's the fuel, right? Nowadays, we just jump into Salah or wait for Ramadan and jump into Ramadan and expect to get the maximum benefit. It's not going to happen. You have to psych yourself up and prepare yourself for it. Now, then we get into our daily routines, which is fine. Working and studying, that's fine. During that, you remember Allah, that's fine. You're not expected to stop and contemplate. But there will be moments in these occasions, moments that Allah Ta'ala makes you reflect. You say, wow, subhanallah, I didn't see it that way. Wallahu a'lam. But this is very important, especially when it comes to the fard salah. How you prepare for it, standing in it, and what you do after it. That's what makes the difference. Anyone else? كيف حالكم؟ نورت الحتة على بعض. Brothers, sisters, questions, comments? Please feel free. Actually, one brother gave me a beautiful suggestion, which I admit I forgot to follow. That is maybe to just have papers and pens go around. Some people may be shy to ask questions, so you can write your question down. I could give you my mobile number and you can text me, but then that'll be a big problem later. So maybe we'll do we'll do that. Midnight, brother, what do you oh my God, you know. Okay, midnight. I'm not mindful. How do I be mindful? And I'm snoring. So maybe, yes, please.
One thing that I'm thinking, so in the time of the lecture, is there any way you can actually correct it? I mean, you drafted your lecture, so you post it in the Facebook page or any blog, so that.
Well, the recorded lecture, you mean?
Not the recorded one, I mean the script one.
Yes,
Some sort of summarize, not the.
Brother, you want to make life hard for me. What I do usually, I put points, and most of these points are in Arabic. So I'm translating as I'm reading, or I'm translating, so most of the things I'm saying, it's not actually in the script. These are pointers. So it'll be making it actually add more work for me if I have to go and type some of these things and post them. So because it's recorded and it is posted on the masjid's website, perhaps you can listen to it and you do your own summary. I think that might be much better. Otherwise, what's going to happen? My nafs, if I was to do that, after a while my nafs is going to say, this is getting too hard, and then it may lead me to stop doing all of this, and I don't want to do that in nafs and shaitan. So I do, please forgive me, but it is recorded, and you can just go and listen to it, and maybe just take your own notes, and come back with questions or here, what you can do, bring your note. It's halal, to do that. It's Sharia compliant to bring a notepad and a pen and just take some notes, because none of us is Imam Shafi'i or Imam Malik. These people used to memorize, so when Imam Malik, rahmatullah alayhi, who I mentioned, because they could see his genius at a young age, and he went and sat in the halaqah, in this class or the lesson of one of the great ulama, Imam Muhaddithin of the time, the Zuhari. And the Imam recited 40 ahadith. The Sheikh, the teacher, read 40 ahadith by heart with the chain of transmission. Because there's a sanad and the matan, the chain of transmission and the content. And then after that, he said, who can recall any of the hadith that I have just read? And Imam Malik was a young man at the time, and he didn't put his hand up, but somebody in the crowd, he said, he can recall all of the 40. He said, really? He said, yes. He said, start. So Imam Malik went and recalled the whole 40 hadith with the chain of transmission and the content in the exact order that the Shaykh read them. And this was an amazing thing about the scholars of the past. They were given this amazing capacity to memorize immediately. They had photographic memories in a sense, immediately, because that's how Allah preserved this deen through them. Now we're not like that. That's why it might be good sometimes to just take notes.
If we posting these audios, that will be fine.
Yeah, the audios will be posted, inshallah ta'ala.
I was looking for the session that you took about the organ donation.
Oh, it's there, but I have slides for the organ donation, because I had to prepare slides. I can share those with you. Yeah, but again, slides or notes are often pointers, so it won't give you the depth, really. Any other question? Maybe one last question? Yeah.
You spoke on science the other day, telling Islamic courses in
Islamic studies, yes. So at the University of South Australia, alhamdulillah, 3 years ago, I was invited by the Vice Chancellor to establish Center for Islamic Thought and Education, Markaz al-Fikr wa Ta'aleem al-Islami. The center has now, we have wonderful colleagues like Dr. Nizar there, who specializes in leadership, in Islamic leadership and other leadership, and other lecturers. So we have a minor in Islamic studies and in the bachelor degree. So anyone studying anything at any university can take the minor or can take Islamic study electives. Because there's cross-institutional courses, and they're all online, fully online. Alhamdulillah, they are taught by brothers and sisters. Islam is taught from an Islamic perspective. And so you can take these courses at the minor, undergraduate level, whether you're doing Bachelor of Arts or Media Studies or Journalism or whatever. If your course allows you to take electives, then you can take our electives. Or if you have a major and you want to do a minor, you can do a minor in Islamic studies with us. We have a course called Introduction to Islam, Islam in the Contemporary World, a history of Islamic civilizations, Sharia, Islamic law, Sharia, and Islam and international relations for now. And if you could also, if you decide if you want to do a master's in Islamic studies in finance, leadership, psychology, criminology, history, education, you can do that with us at a master's level or a PhD level. You can do a PhD in Islamic studies in any of these disciplines. And just as a disclaimer, PhD stands for permanent head damage. So once you do it officially, it will give you the permanent head damage stamp, or it could stand for something else. When I was at Griffith University before I moved to South Australia, and I was in one of the campuses walking, and this international student standing in the middle, literally in the middle of the court, gazing, right? I don't think he was trying to read ayat of Allah, the signs of Allah. And I just said, "How you going, mate? How's things? You're right, He said, "Yeah, I'm just thinking." I said, "What are you thinking about?" He said, "I'm thinking about my PhD." I said, "Oh." I said, "You know what a PhD stands for?" He said, "What?" I said, "Permanent head damage." He said, No. It means something else for me." I said, "What?" He said, "Poor, hungry, and depressed." At this point, I am poor, I am hungry, and I'm depressed. I said, "Okay." So you can do this with us, inshallah. And also we have monthly lectures. So this Thursday, 6 o'clock, Dr. Nizar Faris is giving a lecture, but these lectures are often at the McGill campus at the university. It's open. Actually, we did these lectures for the community, but we don't get so many people turn up. His lecture is post-Christchurch reflections, lessons for leadership for Muslims. So that will be wonderful. Every month there is a lecture. So if you're interested, go on our website, UniSA site, CITE.